Hi, Kuyen. Nice to meet you. I see that you are connecting to the audio. So we are just waiting for more audience to come into our room. So we will be starting our interview with director Wang Chong in 2 minutes. And very thank you for your coming in this Thursday morning in New York. I know that's a very busy time, and I really appreciate that you can make your time here. Thank you.
Yes, same here. I appreciate it.
Yep, thank you, Ijo. We are still waiting a little bit more our audience who has been registered with the event. But because this is a Thursday morning, so we are still waiting for more people on the way. So we will start our interview in 1 minute from 2 past 10, I'm sorry, for American time.
Is somebody recording it?
Yes, I'm just trying to record it on the cloud, and it will be uploaded in the cloud, and then we will be able to get a link to access to the recording, cool. And then it will be able to share more easily.
Great.
So yeah, so we are just going to start our interview with director Wang Chong for the production in 2020, The Waiting for Godot. And this production is very innovative and experimental because it was done through a Zoom video. So, and there will be 2 actors within the Zoom, and director literally is making his direction outside of the material and physical world and using a kind of a virtual online directing way. So we are trying to understand how this kind of directing mode and also how Zoom play will going to change the future of theater staging. So let me introduce our speaker today, director Wang Chong from Beijing, China. And he is the artistic director of the Xinchuan 实验剧团 in Chinese, and it got a French name, which is the des arts du have the expression mentale. So in English, it will be Theater de Rêve Experimental. So that is a very interesting thing that we're going to talk about it later, and why director Wang Chong gave us a French name for his Chinese experimental theater. So we are really welcome and appreciate Wang Chong coming to this speech and also discuss with us some of his understanding and experiences of doing a Zoom play directing and also the production. So welcome, Director Wang Chong, and would you like to say hello morning to our audiences in America and some of them from European countries and some of them from UK and China?
Yes, Xunnan and the International Online Theater Festival, thank you so much for having me, and audience from all over the world. I'm speaking to you from Beijing. I don't know where you are, but this is our reality. It's great to speak to you today.
Thank you, Director Wang Chong. So as I just mentioned, that I would like to start with a little bit background of yourself and also your theater group company. So as I mentioned, that your theater company, you name it in French language, but it was as I researched, the theater company was established in the early 2000s. So would you like to give us a little bit background information about the theater and that you are based in and how it is related to your concept of
Cool.
making theater productions?
Cool. That's a very good question. I founded the company in 2008 without any connection to French theater or French culture. We named it in French for two reasons. First, we were touring our first show, East Asian, to Quebec, Canada. Then I just thought it's cool to have a French name. Second, in China, a lot of works, films, theater pieces, and human beings name themselves in English. Actually, they have nothing to do with international culture or English language. They just want to sound cool. In order to counter that fake culture, I named it in French. So that's why we were named in French. Actually, Waiting for Godot might be our very first thing that has anything to do with French theater.
Great, great. So it's very lovely to hear like the globalization stuff and the global and globalized context that you set up the theater. And it is also very interesting to hear that the first play that you has been done with your theater was a touring in Quebec, Canada. That was very interesting. So did you started your career as a theater director and also practitioners started from internationally? Because according to my understanding that your experience is quite international rather than local in China. So what drove you to this kind of international context of making theater productions?
I guess, yeah, I practiced theater a bit as a law school student in Beijing. I performed in a big show, The Cherry Orchard, directed by Lin Zhaohua, starring Jiang Wenli. And that was before I went to the US to study theater. I attended University of Hawaii for 2.5 years, where I directed my first student production, Hamletism, of course, inspired by Shakespeare. I took that production and did a Chinese version in Beijing later. So in a way, my directing career, or at least directing interests, started in Hawaii, the US. And then, of course, after founding the company, we toured our first show to Quebec and the New York International Fringe. Then we just couldn't stop. So while conceiving Waiting for Godot, I was actually working on another project in Melbourne, Australia. Then the epidemic happened in Wuhan. I started seeing devastating news, talking to Jenny Liang in the Guangzhou Opera House. That's where the idea started to come together, and we eventually put things together to do this Waiting for Godot. And the rehearsal started after I coming back to Beijing from Melbourne.
So that was all done before the pandemic, isn't it? When you
Exactly.
were able to travel internationally. So So was that like even before the pandemic, you already think about like making something on Zoom, or it was a compromise method to do it like due to the breakout of the pandemic? So which one?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. It was 2019. I discovered Zoom through international meetings with Australian colleagues. Then I just thought, okay, this is a amazing platform. 25 people on the same screen speaking to each other, so vibrant, so new. I got to do something about it. That was 2019, and I didn't know what. I just knew that one day I was gonna make something out of it. Then the epidemic hit. I thought, okay, this is the time I work with Zoom. Then I thought of waiting for Godot. So things came together suddenly.
So it's more like in a Chinese word, like the heaven, the earth, and also the people all comes together. So it makes like all the things come together, and you've got the opportunities to do it in the right time with the right person. And even, I mean, sometimes the pandemic brings some very cruel situations that kills many people's lives, but it also creates some other ways for us to think about the possibility that we can do. So
exactly.
Some things that we can learn from the pandemic effects. So based on this, I see that you have a lot of international travel and global connections with different countries and artists. So there's a mainly, I mean, what I can see from a series of your productions is you often adapt or appropriate or reread a Western classic literature or dramatic literature, and then to make it reclaimed in the Chinese stage or on a global stage from Chinese perspective. So I have several words for you to choose. So I have some things which all related to your productions. Someone has some literature has saying rereading, someone using adaptation, and others using appropriations. So I really want to learn from you that which one you prefer, or do you have another choice to see that how do you conceptualize the production that you did, which coming from the Western traditional or classical dramatic text, but then you put it in the global stage from Chinese perspective, then which one you choose?
I guess different words apply to different cases. They definitely vary. For waiting for Godot, for example, I'd say it's not adaptation at all. It's a truthful presentation of waiting for Godot, except that we bring pandemic elements. We reflect our reality in 2020. We work with actors from 3 different cities, including Wuhan, the epicenter of the pandemic. So all these things are new, but the words, we definitely stick to the original and the spirit, the original. Many of the situations we stick to the original. For example, when I did this Ghosts 2.0, it was largely Ibsen, but localized in contemporary China. So you can call it adaptation, you can call it localization. And by the way, I also did a lot of Chinese classics, including Tea House 2.0, Thunderstorm 2.0, and we also have something written completely original, the Revolutionary Model Play 2.0. So there are definitely diverse approaches to the classics. But I guess what is coherent, what is always there in these series of works is contemporary world, if not contemporary China in mind.
Great, great. I mean, that's really something that's thought-provoking. It really let me learn a lot of things from your answers. So since you mentioned about the affiliations and the context of Waiting for Godot 2020, so I would really like to learn something about, is there any difficulties or are there any difficulties that will like stop you or impact you when you are trying to do a Zoom productions, because a Zoom production, which will be totally virtually presented and virtually made, especially for the production process and directing process, have you ever met any difficulties or problems using Zoom rather than like facing face-to-face in person, or all the people in the same situation? That will make some sense, like more theatrical and more easier for communication. Well, it could be like a little bit different if you are using a Zoom production. So is there any things that you would like to share with us, any difficulties or any benefits that you got from the Zoom productions when you compare from the previous like traditional way of physical production or direction?
Yes, great question. I'd say most conceptual performances are very challenging because you raise a concept, you want to prove that you're able to push through the concept, and you want to make it interesting and engaging. So there are different levels of challenges in there already. In terms of Waiting for Godot, of course, you know, the first thing is it theater? I could sort of imagine it, not completely, but my colleagues, the performers and the production team couldn't. You have to persuade them. You have to picture things for them. You have to, you know, work everybody so that we're going towards the same direction, and we are finding the thing together. So that's one thing, something that was really new. Nobody, including myself, had seen anything like that by then. And second, you have to work with the tool. In theater, you have to work with your venue, your seats, your stage, your lights. And in our case, we have to work with Zoom or some other possible choices by then. Eventually, we went back to Zoom. Zoom was the best and probably is still the best now for online theater. Then I really wanted to work with somebody in Wuhan. Wuhan was in hard lockdown. By then, the city, nobody could come out of the city. Nobody, especially except except specially approved people, nobody could enter Wuhan. And I really wanted to make a point that, okay, Wuhan is completely locked, but we can still do theater in Wuhan. Theater is boundless. So I tried hard through a friend actually based in Berlin, who is originally from Wuhan. We found actor Li Boyang in Wuhan. And I was really happy to have Li Boyang in this project because with somebody in Wuhan, we were able to, you know, have a scene by the Yellow Crane Tower, which is the landscape in Wuhan. Then we're able to, you know, further relate this project to the epidemic and pandemic. So it was challenging, but very rewarding. And of course, another challenging thing is where are you going to, advertise your performance? Where are you going to find your audience? Luckily, we partnered with Tencent Arts. Tencent is the giant company behind the app WeChat. So they have their audience base, and Beckett has his audience base, and we have our audience base in Beijing and Guangzhou Opera House. So the joint audience was 290,000. It's a record-breaking number for a single performance in China, and we were very lucky to, pull it off.
Mm. Yes, thank you. I can imagine that how difficult and how many kind of challenges you were facing when you are trying to do this first off and like kind of Zoom productions, while like trying to find like the audiences for that and trying to build up the partnership with different platforms in China, and also to get a partnership like globally in Germany and finding the actors. That will be very things. But I will say this is very important and very meaningful, especially during the breakout of the pandemic, and you find something which is in the heart breaking out city of Wuhan, China, so where it seems like a communication which is inside the city and outside the city. So that really something's very interesting, and it's also one of the points that attracted me when I was watching the screening. However, the other and there's another point that also attracted me a lot through by watching the Waiting for Godot is when I was watching it, I was thinking the theater, which is used to be live, that you can experience the auditorium spaces with the people who are sitting beside you, and also the space relationship between the audiences, and also the stage and the actor on the stage, as well as the places relationship with you and the person and the places relationship. So that is also a question for you and for myself as well, because we are doing an online theater festival for third edition, and I can see that many of our participants, especially your production, has trying to do something which is online as well through the direction and the production side. So how do you think the theatricality, which is traditional theatricality, can be established through the screening production? Or do you think it is a new field that we are trying to create it? Or do you think we this kind of like filming and screening is just a substitute solutions which is temporary? Do you think it will be returned back to the traditional theatricality, or do you think it will be a new way to moving forward in the future?
I'd say obviously the majority of the world is going back to the old normal, but it's also interesting to see the human imaginations during the pandemic. Not only Waiting for Godot, not only other works in this International Online Theater Festival, but also tons of creative works that are happening on the internet. I think this is definitely amazing, definitely in a way transforming the concept of theater for the future. I can totally imagine that one day people might perform Waiting for Godot with one person in the space, one person on this planet, one person on another planet, with probably latency in between them. They can still manage to work something out live. It's not very clear now because the video recording that we put on for this festival is a video recording. But in April 2020, it was live performed and live streamed. I think the liveness part is crucial to theater. This really separate us from Netflix and film or video. Things should belong to this moment, belong to us. Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much. Thank you. Literally, I would say that I hold like the same minds with you as well. We are still looking forward like how the future will be, but I'm very positive. I hold a very positive mind on how the screening and filming features will evolve in the future. It will. I was thinking we will always finding more imagination and creations through the different technology and also the transmedia way, the multimedia ways that we can create it more fabulous productions. So insofar, I will say that is all from our interview is going to be like this. However, I see there are some audiences who are coming today. I would like to ask, is anyone have any questions for Director Wang Chong? If you do, you can just raise your hands up to let me know. I can open your microphone and then you will be able to speak to Director Wang Chong directly. Yes, I see there are a lot of like questions and we have a lot of questions which has been collected before. So one of the questions that we collected from our audiences after waiting for Godot is this. They're asking, how do you think about the scalability of Zoom Play in different countries? So it means, I think the audience means that because the production you made is in China, so have you ever tried to do any partnership with other countries to play, or do you see there will be any possibility to trying to make easier international cooperations based on theater production, while we have more and more mature understanding and operation of Zoom Play?
Yeah, great question. I guess there's no easy way to do international collaboration for now, but as we build up more international networks and productions, it's easier and easier to find partners and other artists to work together. So in March this year, I directed The Plague, an adaptation by Neil Bartlett at the Hong Kong Arts Festival. What's special in The Plague, my version, is that we worked with artists from 6 continents. The actors are from Wuhan, China, the US, Brazil, Lebanon, South Africa, and the UK. And we have a dramaturg and a set designer from Melbourne, Australia. So it's a truly international collaboration. Everybody works from home, works through time differences, and the time differences are very much visible in the production. And of course, the theme is how we deal with this plague, not the one exactly in Gamu's world, but in our world. So that was one example of a transnational performance in a new way.
Great. Thank you, Director Wang Chong. I think in our time, I know there are a lot of questions to be asked. However, with kind of the time limitation and considering about the time zone from the different areas of the globe, we are just going to stop our interview and panel with Director Wang Chong today. Yep, Yizhou, if you have a question, Yeah, I can. Director Wang Chong, would you be able to answer one more question? I was thinking
Yeah,
I see
please.
one more person who's really keen to do that. So Yizhou, do you have a question for Director Wang Chong? You can just unmute yourself and then direct speak with Wang Chong.
Can you hear me? Okay, I think the audio was good. Okay, thank you for the chance. I'm afraid it took me some time to organize my language. Yeah, I am also a theater maker, and I'm struggling a lot with the fact that theater must either go online or stop in the lockdown, as it's deemed non-essential activities by many governments across the world. It's a reality we share right now. And when I explore the online medium, I really struggled with the difference between the 2D presentation and the versus the 3D experience we would have in live theater. And I guess this question will be a bit general, but I wonder, has this 3D to 2D reduction, if I may call it, has it been a problem to you, and how do you regard it? Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great question, Yizhou. Thank you. 3D to 2D. First off, I'd say real theater experiences are not always 3D. The good ones are, and the bad ones are not 3D at all. You know, the bad ones, they would be 2D and they are too far away from you. They don't engage you, they don't interact with you. So in-venue performance wouldn't be necessarily better. And in this 2D world, I think what we have to realize and what we really need to catch is the essence, the real human interactions, the human drama between screens. You know, human emotions are always there. So, for example, in our interaction now, it's largely 2D, but you're able to speak to people in the other side of the planet. And we should say that our interaction, our thing is real at this moment. So we just need to catch this real thing, and we don't want to hide that you are 2D, I'm in my home, this is my sofa. In the performance, probably you don't have to hide these things. Instead, you're able to use these things and make a point.
Thank you, Director Wang Chong. That's really a great answer. So, but I'm so sorry that due to the time limitation, we are just going to stop this interview. However, our interview has been recorded, and the recording will be shared through the website of IOTF. And also another reminder is that the Director Wang Chong's production, Waiting for Godot 2020, will only be on today for 12 hours through IOTF Theater Festival official website. So please take your time, but don't miss the opportunities to watch this wonderful production. And the interview recording will be available on our website and our social networks later. So thank you for the audiences and thank you for the participants. And also thank you, especially my warm thanks for Director Wang Chong who's speaking with us in Beijing, which is already late in the night. So thank you, Wang Chong. And I hope to see you.
Thank you, Xunnan.
Thank you, Wang Chong. I hope to see you in the other panelists later. So thank you, Wang Chong. Thank you.
Thank you. Hope you enjoy the video recording and the festival. See you.
Thank you. See you.